So I had a conversation with a friend of mine yesterday about her losing her job because of AI. She's a middle level type in a tech company, and yeah, there's some risk of her losing her job because of AI. The risk is mitigated by the fact that she can learn to use AI, but the real story is not about job replacement. It's about the fact that AI has collapsed the cost of execution dramatically. So what that means is projects that weren't fundable, that you would look at before and say, we're not going to do that, the cost benefit's not there. Now they're viable bets. Welcome to the AI Operator Podcast. If you're a CEO, founder, or a business owner trying to turn AI into real business value, you're in the right place. I've got this fancy new microphone here. Check that out. I feel like a real podcaster. Welcome to the AI Operator. There's a lot of noise in AI right now. So there's new tools, new models, new benchmarks, stuff coming out all the time and people shouting about the future. But most business leaders like me and like you probably are stuck with one question. And the question is, what do I actually do with this inside my company? And that's what this show's all about. The AI Operators for leaders who want to move beyond experimentation and geekery and toy use cases into like actual real operational leverage with AI. We're talking about practical workflows, repeatable systems, and then real world applications that can help businesses save time, increase output, and improve decision making, which is going to create a measurable return on investment. What nobody's talking about except this one guy on Twitter, X, is the projects that didn't exist before. Everyone's only talking about the jobs that have disappeared. Think about the projects that weren't possible before that can now be funded. So it's this classic thing about demand elasticity. If you've done economics or you look up demand elasticity, when the price of something goes down 80%, demand doesn't just stay at the same level, it massively expands to fill that new price point. So because the cost of coding is going down to not zero, but going down a long way, let's say it collapses by 95%, the possibility of the projects that can be funded now goes way up. So the hypothesis of this guy, and I agree with him, Aaron Levine on Twitter, is that perhaps we're not going to see massive job loss. We're going to see Jevons Paradox. And Jevons Paradox is when technological advancements increase resource efficiency, making usage cheaper, which then leads to a higher total consumption rather than a decrease in total consumption. So because we're making things cheaper with AI, now there's going to be so much more demand for it. Really good example is a piece of software I wrote recently. Yes, I vibe coded it completely using AI. For years and years, I've been wanting a piece of software that would help me organize my life, like a getting stuff done type setup. But I subscribe to a particular methodology, which is from Tony Robbins, which is rapid planning method, or put out your result, put out your purpose, why you want it. So what do I want, why I want it, and my massive action plan. How am I going to get it? All the tasks I need to do to get it. So I built a piece of software that's customized purely for me so that I can put together my plans and clarify my thinking in that. Now that wouldn't have existed beforehand. I had pads, I had notepads, I had books. None of it was good enough. None of it worked. This works for me. It's a piece of software that lives on my Mac Mini here, and then it's using a model that's on my Mac Studio, and I can pull it up on my phone and I can just type things into the piece of software. So it's massively helping me stay organized in my life and achieve all of this, which is pretty cool. So the cool thing is that even if we do lose some jobs because of AI, the demand for all of the people that can do things with AI is going to massively increase. So if you're a person who's thinking about your future and what it looks like in the age of AI, just learn to do stuff with AI. Just get in there, use the models, do what you can, and you'll position yourself above all of the people who are scared of AI. That was my advice to my friend. Jevons Paradox has happened with every major technology, labor-saving technology in history. The AI version that we're seeing now isn't new. It's the same paradox that we always see, but it's happening heaps faster. It's happening a lot faster. So in action, we're seeing it as cheaper coding, means more software is shipping. means more support, more project manager, more integration roles are needed. And yes, AI is going to help people be more productive in those roles, but that's a good thing. That means that the support, project management, the integration, it all gets cheaper. Therefore, we can use more of it. So a lot more software is going to ship, and it'll be software for niche use cases. Alex Finn gave a really good example on X. Be the CRM for Korean grocery stores. Right? Who's going to write a CRM? Salesforce is never going to write a CRM for Korean grocery stores. Zoho is never going to write a CRM for Korean grocery stores, but you can. And then you can just completely dominate that niche, that market. So that's as business owners. That's what we need to be thinking about, is going into a niche rather than trying to serve everybody with our product, serving a small niche. And maybe we have a series of small niches and we customize the product slightly for those different niches. It's a huge opportunity. So the example that was given to support this hypothesis is that the most underreported cases is the team that went from 0 engineers to 10. So a project that never existed that is now getting built because of the ROI, because of the value. So if you had, let's say, a great example that they gave on Twitter, on X, if you had a feature that takes 50 engineers to build, but you couldn't justify building it because such a huge investment. Maybe it's only serves a small slice of your product, of your market. It can become a 50-person team, can become a 2-person project team once you get agents and AI involved. And then you can ship that feature. And then guess what? You can ship another feature like that and another feature like that. So what we're going to see, and what it probably means for us, is we're going from we can't afford this to let's hire and build it. So in the old model, we wouldn't have done that 50-person project. It just would not be viable. It's too much cost for too small a benefit. Now, if it only takes 5 people to do that same job, maybe we fund that project. The AI agents come in and help with the heavy lifting on the code, and the humans are just the orchestrators. So we still need developers, but what happens is it's not just the one project that gets funded, it's all 10 of the projects. And net, we end up with the same number of engineers employed because they can produce code faster and cheaper. So that means that we actually see net the same employment. And my hypothesis is because of Jevons Paradox, we're going to see massive employment. So everybody's scared about losing their jobs with AI. I think we're going to see so many more jobs with AI. It's just going to be a rough ride. The people who are the laggards, the late majority on the technology adoption curve, they're the people who will struggle to find a job if they're not embracing AI. They're not the ones watching this podcast. We can't help them yet. Maybe there's a ton of stuff they can do online. There's a lot of courses to come up to speed with it, but it's something that we need to be thinking about as business owners. There is that technology adoption curve, and we need to keep in mind that some people are going to adopt this technology straight away. A lot of people are going to be a bit slower to adopt the technology. And just like with any technology, new roles are going to emerge. So think about when the classic example is the Luddites that came together and smashed the automatic loom, or the loom when it came into operation. They weren't happy. They were weavers. The best weaver in their town was making the most money. And then they came together and said, no, we're not going to put up with this technology. We're going to go and smash it. Now, that was the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And look what came out of it. We can buy clothes for T-shirts for $11. And there's so many more roles. There's so many people, so many maintenance engineers who look after the looms. The same thing is happening with AI. We have a convergence of 3 really exciting technologies. One is AI. Everybody knows about that. Our large language models, large world models, large quantitative models. There's some really cool stuff coming that I need to do an explainer on all the different terms that we're seeing. So large language models, or AI models. Robotics. Robotics is going to be massive. So we're going to have so many robotics engineers. I've got a 10-year-old daughter who's into engineering. I said, let's buy a robot kit. Let's get you building robots, because the roles of the future are in humanoid robots. You've got Figure, you've got Optimus coming out from Tesla, there's was listening to the Abundance 360 live stream, and there was half a dozen humanoid robot companies mentioned on that live stream. It's coming, and it's going to come fast. So there's got to be people to maintenance those robots, to service those robots, to build those robots, to program those robots. So the three technologies are AI models, robotics, and quantum. Quantum is in its infancy now, but I think we're at the bottom of the inflection point with quantum. It's going to be massive because what it allows us to do is generate synthetic data. Let's say that you were doing materials engineering, you wanted to, material science, you wanted to find a particular type of concrete that was stronger and lighter. You feed that into these large quantitative models, these quantum models, and it builds out, it takes all the different possible combinations of molecules and atoms and simulates their interactions and generates billions of synthetic data points. And the AI models can then sort through that synthetic data and find the ones that are most promising, and then it might serve up 200 to be tested. As opposed to, in the old model, we had a scientist putting chemicals into different pipettes and pipetting chemicals into different Petri dishes and testing these chemicals one by one. Now we can generate billions of data points and narrow it down to the 200 most promising. So material science is going to change as we know it very shortly. Now, there's a slightly uncomfortable counterpoint to this, and that's that higher wages go to the workers who survive the cut, the workers who are enabled with AI and who have enabled themselves with AI. They've learned the technology, but not everyone's going to survive that cut. So the late majority that we were talking about, they're not going to survive, but they do have an opportunity. They can become creators. They can become entrepreneurs. They can build a podcast like this. They can start building things online and building in public. That's huge on X right now. So it's something that we need to be coaching the people who aren't surviving the cut and teaching them, hey, you need to get onto X, onto the internet and sign up for a course and just learn about this stuff. But there's a bump. Not everybody's going to be ready for entrepreneurship, right? There's a transition period that I don't think we really have a clean answer for yet. We don't know how those people are going to survive that period. It's some job categories like DevOps, some monitoring or like quality assurance roles, they're going to face demand that doesn't bounce back. So those people are going to need to reskill pretty quick. So if you're listening to this podcast, the question isn't whether to adopt the software, whether to adopt the new tool. It's whether you can be the architect of a new system or you're just hoping somebody else designs it around you. If you're watching this podcast, you are the orchestra conductor. You know that you need to do something about this. So get out there, do the research, find a person who can help you implement this stuff and have some fun. Get in there and automate parts of your business that you never thought could be automated before. I had a conversation just this morning with a business owner. He runs a company, a small construction company. And he said the biggest pain for him is talking with customers. And so not talking with customers in the initial sales phase, he loves that. It's talking with customers during projects, keeping them apprised of progress. And we were just in the early stages. I had to bite my tongue and say, let's just text them. Let's just text them every time something changes on the project. But I'm designing a system for him rather than just interjecting with individual bits of usefulness. I just thought I'd hold back, and I'm designing a full system for this construction company around how we can take the inputs from the workers who are working on these projects and feed that back into a central system to notify customers of progress on their build. So that's going to be a really exciting project. I'm going to see if the owner's open to it, if we can build that in public on this podcast. But if you've got a use case, you've got a problem, a business problem you want solved, or you're just curious about AI and you think you've got a problem that AI might be able to help with, reach out to me on X at Michael Pullman or send an email, podcast@oneaipod.com. I'm Michael Pullman. This is the AI Operator Podcast. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon.